Hi, my name is Jamie Moreno, and today I will be discussing the Module 4 journal entry. And the topic that I've chosen to discuss is what sociological and/or criminological theories do you believe are close to your opinion of casuation of deviance and crime? What have you or your family or friends experienced that would lead you to having your opinion? Um, I believe the strain theory plays a really, really big role in deviant behavior. There's just so much pressure out there these days to have the nicest things and drive the nicest cars, and um, especially in a city like the one we live in, it's more of a cultural thing, and everybody's trying to show off what they have, and this puts a lot more pressure on an individual. Um, I can think of a time when I was growing up and I was fresh out of high school, living on my own, and I was forced to make some decisions that I now might consider questionable. Um, but ultimately, it was the only way to stay afloat and survive. I was fortunate enough to overcome those obstacles and find the financial means to support myself and do what needed to be done. But the amount of pressure that's out there is overwhelming, and the strain theory indicates, that what causes one to develop the deviant behavior is the amount of um, anger, frustration, and anxiety that you get from all this pressure that's being put on you to provide. Um, you want to have a roof over your head. You want to have food on the table. I can see a household, husband, wife, and children loses their job, and dad wants to do that. Dad wants to pay the bills. Dad wants to put food on the table, or mom. It can be either one. And times get so desperate that you're willing to do pretty much anything when it comes to your children. And unfortunately, sometimes it's not always the best decision. And whether that moment right then and there is, oh, somebody left this wallet here, let me pick it up and take it, or let me use one of these credit cards to go to the grocery store and pick up a few things, or anything relating to that. It's very easy to find yourself in that situation. um, if you've been fortunate enough to never have been put in that situation, I myself can think of a time where I found myself pretty desperate. Single mom raising a child, had a roof over our head, fortunately, but I can think back to the day when I look at my bank account and there's $40 in there, and we've got no groceries, and we've got to figure out what we're going to do for the week. So, fortunately, I had family to rely on. And if it came down to it, and that's where I needed to go have dinner for the day, then that's where I would go. But not everybody is fortunate enough to experience these type of things. Not everybody has stable environments or families that they can reach out to as resources to provide what needs to be provided, um, ultimately leading up to the deviant or criminal behavior. If you look at a lot of the criminal cases that we run into, um, there's always something that caused it. In a lot of these um, situations, it's usually someone who was somehow, in one way or another, pressured into doing something. Whether the situation at the time put the pressure on them, or it was just the pressure of society, or everything else around them that led to that behavior. I can see that. I can relate to. I also have another relative who found themselves in the same situation. Made some bad choices, served some time, got out of prison, and this is where the biggest thing comes into play. Is your first offense, you go to prison, you're released. Problem is you're scarred for life. Your record shows a criminal history, and nobody wants to hire you. You can't get a job. and all you can do is think back to the friends you made back in prison, and those friends are the only resources that you have right now, and you need to make some money, and they've offered you a position, and hey, do this and I'll give you a few $100. And what do? Because you've got to put food on the table, you've got to provide. Well, you do it, and it seems easy the first time, easy enough anyway. So you say, hey, why not one more time? But these are all things that could have been prevented had we had the resources. Maybe it wasn't necessary to stain your record with, whatever offense you committed if it wasn't something that serious. Um, Maybe you could have had a second chance at, getting your life together after you were released from prison. But the biggest thing you need to look at is the pressure that's out there. We as a society need to make some changes in how we perceive things. We need to learn to be content with what we have, and ultimately we need to learn to help each other. Not helping each other and not allowing others to fail, it's all setting us up for the world that we live in. So if nothing else, work on that, working together, helping one another. Give back to your community, give back to your churches, donate when you can. Find a program, advocate for programs. All of that is very, very important in someone's success or financial well-being. I hope that my information was enlightening today, and that it shed some light on the strain theory, and I was able to answer the question that was being asked of me. Thank you for your time and attention. Have a good evening.